Somewhere along the way, NBA debates stopped being about basketball and turned into math class taught by a bunch of people that don't know how to do math. It's almost impossible to give your opinion on a player or a team nowadays without some little Timmy hitting your replies, pulling out his calculator, and being like, I don't think so. I have multiple stats that say otherwise. I mean, just the other day, I tweeted about how I felt like Cade Cunningham is a better player than Anthony Edwards right now. And I had someone adamant in my replies saying that there's no way Cade Cunningham is a better player than Anthony Edwards because Anthony Edwards has a higher grit plus stat, a higher glop stat, and a higher usage IQ stat. Now, for all you normal people out there that probably don't know what these stats mean, your grit plus stat is your grit rating impact tracker. Basically measures how hard a player looks like they're trying regardless of the actual results. Your glop rating is your general level of offensive presence. It basically measures how much a player seems like they're doing on offense regardless of their actual production. And lastly is your usage IQ, which is your usage intelligence quotient. Basically measures how smart a player looks when they're taking a ton of shots every night. Now, if you're sitting here watching this video being like, well, you know, he does have a point. Those are three major advanced metrics that we have to take into consideration. And it's important to look at those things because they have such a big impact. Yeah, every single one of those was fake. I made all three of those up. But I'm sure there were people out there that after hearing that story were kind of like, maybe Ant is better than Cade. We've reached a point where people are using stats that they can't define, they can't calculate, and they certainly don't understand, all to decide who's better at playing basketball, and it's ruining the sport. But very quickly before we get into the rest of this video, if you guys enjoy this type of content, all things NBA, you want to show your support, please hit that like button on this video. I would really appreciate it. And also, if you guys want to stick around, join my community, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, trying to get monetized here on YouTube. And so right now, every single subscription means so much to me. But with all that out of the way, let's talk hoops. Now, for 50 or 60 years, the NBA ran on purely vibes. Success in the NBA was done by GMs who said, hey, that guy looks pretty good at basketball. I want him on my team. And fan discourse fell the same way. You never heard fans back in the 90s be like, well, you know what? Actually, Hakeem Olajuwon's RAPM and his true shooting percentage and his DDPM are all better than Jordan. So why are we saying Jordan's the GOAT? No, people just watched basketball and said, holy Michael Jordan is a baller. But then I would say like 10 or so years ago, some freaks who were never actually good enough to play basketball at a high level decided to start creating a bunch of these advanced metrics, things that, you know, you can't really see from the eyesight test, things that are really, really hyper specific, but apparently all calculate into how good and how impactful of a basketball player you are. And once those cropped up, NBA ownership and NBA executives kind of followed suit when it came to evaluating players. And once that happened, it was only a matter of time until the fans did the same. And that created rise to what I like to call the stat sheet warrior. People who quite literally watch the NBA on an Excel spreadsheet. No one anymore is allowed to give opinions based on the eyesight test or based on just watching them play. I could watch only Shea Egregious Foul Bader and Nikola Jokic play for an entire season, and based on all those games I watched, I could probably say, you know, Shea looks like a better player than Nikola Jokic. But no, you'll always have a bunch of dudes in your comments being like, well, no, Nikola Jokic's Darko stats better, his LeBron stats better, his RAPM's better, his true shooting percentage is better, his effective field goal percentage is better, his on-ball percentage is better. Basically throwing out every single random acronym and random stat that they can think of in order to disprove your opinion and make themselves feel better about themselves and seem smarter to the general NBA fan base. I now want to introduce you guys to the dumbest argument in NBA history. This was an argument between the two players that I talked about in the intro, Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards. On Twitter the other day, I basically just saw somebody post like a highlight video of Anthony Edwards against the San Antonio Spurs. And somebody quote retweeted that and said, Cade higher in offensive rating when on, net rating, EPM, RAPM, LeBron, laps defensively, second highest assist percentage, and offense on-off swing. It was then proceeded to be responded to by somebody else with this graphic, showing that Anthony Edwards is better in a bunch of different stats compared to Cade Cunningham. But then it was responded to again with a new graphic showing a bunch of stats that Cade Cunningham is better than Anthony Edwards in. But oh my God, what are these stats? Anthony Edwards is better in SMR field goal percentage, LMR field goal percentage, true shooting ad divided by 100, scoring turnover percentage, real true shooting percentage. But don't worry guys, because Cade Cunningham is better in RAPM, in VORP, in rim assists, in 2-year DRAPM, in 2-year RAPM, in 3-year RAPM, in field goal differential percentage, in point save per 100. Oh my gosh, I totally know what all those mean, and I'm sure the people who are posting them know what they mean too. And this is how you know I'm not biased, because Cade Cunningham is my favorite player. I would love for everybody to think Cade Cunningham is better than Anthony Edwards, but the guy in defense of Cade Cunningham, I guarantee you, doesn't even know what a 3-year RAPM in field goal differential percentage even means. And if he does think he knows what it means, he definitely just quick looked it up on Google, read the little AI overview summary of it, and decided he was now an expert in what that even meant. But on the other hand, I bet you the person who posted the pro Anthony Edwards graphic 100% doesn't know what a true shooting ad divided by 100 is, or a score turnover percentage is, or an LMR field goal percentage is. He literally just saw that Anthony Edwards has a higher one than Cade Cunningham and said, yep, this proves my point right here, guys. But there is one advanced metric that trumps all advanced metrics. It is quite literally the holy grail of arguments when it comes to these type of people. It is the safe thing that they will always fall back on no matter what, and it is true shooting percentage. True shooting percentage is a formula that basically combines 2-point field goals, 3-point field goals, and free throws into one single efficiency percentage. And when you see debates about who is better than who deserves MVP this year, who is top 5 in the league, I guarantee you, you will never find a debate between multiple fans in the NBA between these types of topics without somebody throwing in true shooting percentage, which I find so funny because it is one of the most misused and inherently flawed stats I have ever seen in NBA history. And this is like the greatest stat, the most important stat when it comes to, measuring how good a player is in the NBA to these types of stat sheet warriors. The other night, Paolo Banchero played a game where he ended with the stat line of 24 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 turnovers, 0 blocks, 1 steal, 5 for 10 from the field, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line, 13 for 16 from the free throw line. Now, from the eye test, anybody looking at this can say 1 for 4 from the 3-point line, 9 turnovers, 24 points on 50%, and they lost. That is not a good game from Paolo Banchero. His true shooting percentage for the game was 71.2%, far better than league average. And so, all the advanced metric Andys should be saying, no, this was one of the best games we've seen from Paolo Banchero all year. A game where he only shot 10 shots, shot 25% from the 3-point line, and had 9 turnovers. But hey, he was highly efficient because of this one stat that we hold ultimate weight to when it comes to measuring how good a player is. Let's look at some of the best scorers in the NBA right now. Shea Egregious Foul Bader sitting with a true shooting percentage of 66.5%, Luka 61.5%, KD 63.1%, Jalen Brunson 59.2%, and Steph Curry 64%. Man, those are some good numbers from some of the best in the league. Yeah, Rudy Gobert has a better true shooting percentage than every single one of those guys. So now am I supposed to believe that Rudy Gobert, a player who genuinely looks like he's never touched a basketball and looks like he would be working at your local Burger King if he wasn't 7 feet tall, am I supposed to believe that he is now a better, more efficient scorer than Shea, than Luka, than KD, than Brunson, than Curry? Like, what are we arguing here, guys? Because what I've seen from people is that true shooting percentage is the stat that trumps every other stat. Like, if you have a below average true shooting percentage, then you are a terrible, inefficient scorer. But Rudy Gobert has a better true shooting percentage than all these all-time and current NBA greats. So again, am I supposed to believe now, because his true shooting percentage is higher, that he is a better, more efficient scorer than KD, than Steph Curry? Because that makes no sense. And if you were to ever argue that in any NBA space, you would be laughed off the face of the earth. And that's another issue with all these advanced metrics. Again, everybody's just looking at, oh, this number bigger than this number, so this player must be better than this player, without even like taking into consideration any context or nuance that has to do with these stats. Again, they just see, oh, this guy's got a bigger number than this guy, he's better. And so you can look at all these advanced metrics, all these things that, you know, casual NBA fans or just normal people that like to watch basketball don't understand, like their LeBron stat or their Darko stat or their RAPM or their EPM. But if your argument, again, is just coming down to, well, this number higher than this number, you are dumber than everybody else not looking at those stats and just watching basketball. And that's because of the death of critical thinking in the NBA. The fans that use these numbers don't actually care how they're calculated or what they mean or what they even measure. They simply are just saying, well, a bunch of super smart guys created all these stats, and so now I'm just going to use them to support my argument without even knowing what they mean. They look at these numbers and they look at these players without taking into consideration all the things that can't be defined by advanced metrics and by statistics. Things like a player's role, their teammates, their system, their spacing, their pacing, their coaching, everything like that that can't be boiled down into simple numbers where people can be like, well, that number higher than that number, that mean good. It's such a bad argument, but that's all you see when it comes to NBA debates and NBA discourse nowadays. And if this video does well, I'm probably going to have a lot of these advanced analytic Andes in my comments arguing about why I'm dumb, I'm a casual, I don't know what I'm talking about, and probably throwing a bunch more stats that nobody cares about and nobody actually understands to argue why I'm wrong. And all I have to say about that is, get your head out of the Excel spreadsheet, get your head out of the calculator, and watch basketball. But still, this channel is all about NBA debating, NBA talking, sharing your thoughts in a judgment-free and free space to do so. So again, if you do disagree with me, I would love to hear why. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Make sure to leave a comment down below. And if you agree with me, let me know about that too. I'm trying to get a general sense of how majority of people in the NBA fan base feel about, you know, advanced metrics and people constantly using them to argue who's better than who. And if you made it to the end of the video, first of all, thank you guys so much for making it to the end. But also, you guys obviously enjoyed the video, you're still here. So make sure to hit that like button on your way out. And again, if you guys want to join my community, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you. And lastly, if you want to see any more content from me, YouTube actually thinks you'll really like this video right here. So once this video wraps up, make sure to click on that and you can see another piece of great NBA content that I'm sure you're going to enjoy. But that's really all I got for today, guys. So as always, peace and love.